Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Valerie Dudley, and today's lecture is on my social identity. Well, really, it's on your social identity. One of the things that I want us to talk about in today's lecture is going to focus on this. I asked you to read an article from Dr. Beverly Daniels Tatum, and in her article, she talks about the complexity of identity. And here we're going to really talk more about social identity. But I'd like to give you a definition of what social identity is first. So social identity is a combination of aspects of ourselves. It includes age, ethnicity, race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, nationality, and socioeconomic status. And that makes us part of various social groups. It also informs how you lead, how you respond to others, and also how others will respond to you. In the article, Dr. Tatum talks about the concept of identity is a complex one. It shapes by our individual characteristics, by family dynamics, historical factors, and social and political context. Who am I? The answer depends in large part on who the world around me says that I am. Who do my parents say that I am? Who do my peers say I am? What message is reflected back to me in the faces of the teachers and neighbors and people in the stores, store clerks? What do I learn about myself from the media? How am I represented in the cultural images around me? Or am I missing from the picture altogether? As the social scientist Charles Cooley pointed out, other people are the mirrors in which we see ourselves. One of the things I like to talk about is our diversity, kind of use as an example, is the diversity iceberg. And when you think about an iceberg, the realization is that you see the very top tip of it. It's only about 15% of what we see of an iceberg. Well, again, when you meet a person for the first time, that's about 15% of what you get to know and see of who they are. And so things like their race, their physical appearance, maybe you can judge their age, and so forth. But then there are things that are at the waterline. And the areas that are at the waterline are things that we tend to make assumptions about. And that's about another 10%. We make assumptions about people's marital status, their religion, their gender. These are things that we're pretty much guessing at, but we're kind of guessing based upon what we're seeing. But then there's a whole nother 75% that we can't see about a person's identity. And these are the various characteristics that are shown below. So things like our socioeconomic class, our educational background, our ethnic background, our careers, our hobbies, our interests, our political affiliations. Those are all things that are part of our social identity that make us who we are today. And with those, we also tend to get messages. When you think about culture and our social identity and culture is a part of our social identity, culture influences our lens. Our culture is the lens through which we look at the world, and how also for others, how the world looks at us and how they see us. When you look at our cultural perspectives, there are things like our values, our beliefs, expectations, our behaviors. And as we have those expectations for ourselves, we also tend to carry those expectations on to others. And the same holds true to other people that are looking at us based on their lens that they're looking through. As you can see, when we talk about the lens and how we look at things, how do you see the world? Well, sometimes you've heard the phrase, people see things through rose-colored glasses. Well, if you look at this pair of glasses, again, we see people as we see ourselves. And so as an African American, I might look at people and have that lens of, the reality and the perspective that comes with being an African American. If I am working class, then I look at it through the lens of a working class individual. If I'm American and I'm looking at someone that is not an American, then I look at it through that lens. from my sexual orientation perspectives, if I'm a heterosexual male, if I'm a trans woman, if I'm a lesbian. Those are also the different lenses that we look at and how we also sometimes judge people based on. For the assignment that I wanted you to work on, I wanted you to create a wiki or a website and kind of talk about a little bit more about who you are. What is your social identity? And I'd like you to use the template of the I Am From poem to kind of guide you in your efforts in telling us your story about who you are. And as you can see, I want you to complete each stanza. This does create a really nice poem. There's no right or wrong answer. You're replying based on your own experience, and you're telling your own story. It says, I am from. Describe the things that are in your home or your apartment. I am from. Describe the things that are part of the sights and sounds of the neighborhood in which you grew up. Describe the lists of foods that appear at holiday gatherings or family gatherings. I am from. 2 or 3 familiar sayings you heard from family members as you were growing up. And then I am from, and list the names of people and groups who are most responsible for you being who you are today. One of the things I did is I wanted to give you an example of what I'm looking for. And so I created my own I am from, and so let me go through it. So I am from forest green carpets, as indicated by the stairs. I am from comfortable leather furniture. I have a big leather chair, a big leather couch. In this one, I have my topsy-turvy doll and my green blanket because I'm always cold. I am from Smokey. That's my fat cat who runs the house. He loves laying all around it. I am from African art work in my house. That's what I love. I am from the sights and sounds that I grew up with. The kids playing jumping double dutch or basketball games in the driveway, police cars and fire engines running up and down the streets, and then the boombox music. Songs like Summertime by Will Smith. I grew up in West Philadelphia just like Will Smith did, and we used to hear all that music growing up. I am from collard greens, mac and cheese, and fried chicken. I am from barbecue spare ribs, fried shrimp, again some more collard greens, black-eyed peas, candied yams. I am from homemade bread pudding. That's one of my signature dishes. It's really delicious. It has everything in it. And it's always topped off with a cinnamon rum sauce. Makes me hungry. I am from God will not put on you more than you can bear. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Work hard and study. I love you to the moon and back. And stop picking on your sister. One day she'll be bigger than you. Well, this is my I am from poem. And what I'd like you to do with this assignment is to be as creative as you possibly can. Use pictures of your home. Take your camera, go in and videotape or take pictures of the things that are around your house that will help you describe. I'm giving you license to be as creative. That will be part of the rubric and how we judge your presentation. Have fun with this because this was a really fun activity. But also, keep in mind, this is what the classmates and I will see. And it's really, really, you're telling your story. And that's a really fun thing. Let us know who you are, and we're going to learn more about you. Anyway, thank you. I look forward to seeing you in class, and have a good day. Bye-bye.